monument to the 82nd Illinois Infantry Regiment, the only infantry regiment representing the state of Illinois here on the battlefield. On this map, we're right about here where my finger is, right? On the blue line, the blue represents the Union Army. The red represents the Confederate Army. The town of Gettysburg is in that direction on the other side of the college campus. Beyond that is the high ground south of town in Cemetery Hill, and that'll be our next stop. Now, the afternoon of July 1st, 1863, the reinforcements arrived, but the Confederates got here fastest with the mostest. They brought 27,000 Confederate soldiers to this battlefield, marching quickly from Chambersburg and from Harrisburg. The men from the South were under the command of a one-legged, bald-headed Confederate general named General Richard Ewell. He lost his leg at the Battle of Second Manassas. He came to this field in a carriage because he could no longer ride a horse. But in these fields were the men of the Union Army. General Reynolds had brought 10,000 men to this battlefield. He was killed 15 minutes after he arrived. He was replaced by General Doubleday, and then into these fields moved the 11th Corps of the U.S. Army under the command of a one-armed Union general, General Oliver Otis Howard. He lost his arm at the Battle of Seven Pines. He, too, was just returning to command. So you had a one-legged Confederate general and a one-armed Union general, but under the command of those generals were divisions and brigades of soldiers. And the men of the 82nd Illinois were under the command of General Alexander Schimmelpfennig. Whoa. It's a German name meaning shiny penny. General Alexander Schimmelpfennig, most of the men in the 11th Corps of the Army spoke German. They were German immigrants. They didn't speak the language. And there was no exception to that rule for the men from Illinois, many of whom were immigrants not only from Germany, but other countries. Now, the monument tells the story of this regiment. They were obviously from Illinois. Again, you see the fern, but you also see the wreath of victory, and you see the crescent moon. The crescent moon was the symbol of the 11th Corps of the U.S. Army. Each of the infantry corps had a special symbol they wore on their hats or their coats. The 11th Corps wore the crescent moon. The 3rd Corps had the diamond, the 12th Corps the star, and so on. But the crescent moon was a way to improve morale, esprit de corps, and they wore the symbol quite proudly. And nearly all these regiments placed that symbol on their memorials. As you ride this line, you'll see those memorials. Now, the story of the 82nd Infantry Regiment, who was here the afternoon of July 1st, 1863, they were organized in Springfield, Illinois. The regiment was organized in Springfield in 1862. After they were organized, by November of 1862, the regiment was shipped to Washington, D.C., and they would participate in many Civil War battles before Gettysburg, including the Battle of Chancellorsville, where Stonewall Jackson was killed, and later here at the Battle of Gettysburg. At Gettysburg, the regiment was commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Edward Solomon. It had 347 men that they brought to battle, 347 men in this regiment. During the battle, 4 were killed, 19 wounded, 89 were missing. Second Lieutenant Frederick Bapst was mortally wounded, and Captain Emil Fry was captured. Now, interestingly enough, the regiment was commanded by Edward Solomon. He was unique in that he was Jewish. He was one of the only Jewish officers in the entire Union Army. He commanded here at Gettysburg, the 82nd Illinois. Also in that regiment captured was Captain Emil Fry. Emil Fry, after the war, would move to Europe and became president of Switzerland. Right? Now, during the battle, 27,000 Confederate soldiers in the early afternoon of July 1st, 1863, ferociously attacked the men of the Union Army, who were literally sitting ducks out in this open field. Despite hard fighting by the men from Illinois and the others, the Confederates overwhelmed them, outflanked them, and drove them back across these fields through the town of Gettysburg. The monument tells the story. On the back of the monument, participating in the repulse of Ewell's Corps on the night of July 2nd, 1863, the regiment lost during the 3 days battle 112 killed, wounded, and missing. That includes the ones who were captured. On July 1st, 1863, they were moved in retreat to Cemetery Hill, which is where we're going to go. So by 4:30 in the afternoon on that first day of the battle, these men are in absolute full retreat. Many will be killed, shot down, but at least 89 will throw up their hands and will become prisoners of war. And many of those men will be taken to Richmond, Virginia, Salisbury, North Carolina, and some, I suspect, to Andersonville, Georgia, later in the war. Many of those men will perish in Southern prisons, a long way from the Great Lakes.